we're just happy that he's here. Brian Harman, our defending champion. Few comments.
I want to clear one thing up about that wedding date. My wife wanted to get married the last weekend in October, but that's the Georgia-Auburn weekend. I said, babe, no one's going to show up to our wedding. We got to get married every week. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Claire mentioned Jeremy, my agent. He's here, and what he does for us is unbelievable. We were talking in the parking lot, and he goes, you know, he's involved with a lot of these media days, and he said, this is crazy how many people show up for this one. And I think that's a testament to how important this tournament is to this area. It shows how much everyone here enjoys golf, enjoys good golf, and the support that the tournament gets from it's unbelievable. And it's an honor to be the champion of a tournament like that, to feel the support, and I can't thank y'all enough for that. So big round of applause for everyone that showed up today. It's really cool. Claire also alluded to the fact that I played with Zach a few years ago and watched him win, and that was really the first time that I'd gotten in contention in a PGA Tour event. So I can't really describe the feeling that I had last year to come back and, like you said, get the job done. And it was an experience I'll never forget. And John Deere will always have a special place for me. And I can't ever imagine not wanting to come back to this golf tournament. It's one of my favorites, and I really enjoy the area. Obviously, I'd been a little bit involved before with Mr. Ontiveros, and I just love it around here. Y'all got great beef around here. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. I don't really have anything prepared. No big. They had all their notes. They didn't tell me I needed to bring a bunch of notes.
Brian, you got it going here last year. How hard is it to keep it going with the Barracudas you're playing against week in, week out on the tour?
Well, it's what I've always dreamed about doing. I mean, that's part of the challenge is to get up every week, and it's hard sometimes with the travel, and there's distractions, the stuff that it's not like when my mom and I would just get in the car and go to a junior golf tournament. I'd be so ready to get out of the car that I couldn't help it play golf and stay out there a little longer. But obviously now I'm married and I got a great wife, and it's good being home. So sometimes it is tough, but I do love what I do. I love the work, I love playing, and I love the competition. So.
And guys have come in here and told us after they win this tournament, especially if it's their first win, when you go out on tour as a champion after that, things are different. Your pairings are different. People look at you differently. How's it been since you won this tournament?
Well, it's one of those things where you finally feel like you belong. Obviously the tee times are better. You start getting into the tournament a little bit earlier. If that makes any sense, you feel like that you're more a part of the tournament sometimes. Your first year on tour, you've got these tee times where you're like last off, and then the next year after you keep your card, you're first off, and so you're not really in with the crowd and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely an adjustment, but it's a very good adjustment. It's very positive. So it was a big deal for me.
I know you're a little bleary-eyed from your long night, but you're a little dazzled when you drive into this place realizing that you held off a couple of Masters champions, a British Open champion, and won this thing last year. Does it stoke you to come back this year? Yeah, it's a lot of memories coming back. I remember Zach and I are dear friends. He lives on St. Simons, and we did a little Q&A last year at a course that we're members of, Ocean Forest down in St. Simons, and someone asked him something about a certain golf tournament. He goes, well, there's a tournament last year. I go out, I played unbelievable, and I shoot, whatever, and I thought there's no way I wasn't gonna win this golf tournament. And he goes, and he won. So Zach's a very gracious gentleman, and I'm glad to call him a friend. And we talk about golf, and he's given me a lot of great advice. So to be able to hold him off out here was a real confidence booster. If I can follow up, this is a very deceptive layout. You'll see low scoring, and you'll think cakewalk. Not really, not in the least.
Wow, that last hole sure played pretty hard last year. I mean, I had a 6-iron in over water trying to hang on to a 2-shot lead. So it's I don't necessarily equate low golf scores to somehow or another the golf course being easy. It's just that the guys are good. I mean, the guys are hitting it 300 and some odd yards and hitting it really straight and making a lot of putts. Like, I don't get where that's a bad thing. That's fun to watch, you know? That's one of the great things about Augusta is the back nine roars. They're not roaring because the guy's making a 24-foot bogey, you know? They're making eagles and birdies, and that's what's so exciting about this place. And I personally, I wish golf would be a little bit more like that sometimes.
Brian, what is it about your college program that prepares you to come out here, and all of you guys to come out here and be as successful as you are?
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask Coach Hack, he'll say his extensive coaching. But I honestly think that it's in the South, so we got great weather. And Kevin Kisner, who's been very close this year, and he will win eventually, he was kind of the first guy. He was a South Carolina guy, and he came to Georgia. And I was friends with Kevin. Chris Kirk was friends with Kevin. Brendan Todd was friends with Kevin. And then after those guys, it was Hudson Swafford, Harris English. We were all friends. I was kind of the middle guy in all this. And so Kevin goes there, then Kirk decides to go there, then Brendan decides to go there. So I was like, well, I'm going to go play with all my buddies. It could have just as easily been anywhere else. We were friends. We grew up playing junior golf together. We all wanted to play golf together, and it just happened to be at the University of Georgia. So it worked out great for everybody.
Hey Brian, you talked about the advice that you got from Zach. What are some of those tidbits, and what's been the best advice that you got?
I think probably the best advice, I asked him after I watched him win this golf tournament. He shot 6 under. I'll never forget it because I was hitting it so well. This was my rookie year, and I'm hitting it 10 or 15 yards by him. That's being generous. I was hitting in front of him. And but he just wiped the floor with me, and it was making putts. And I asked him. I said, Zach, what do I need to do to kind of move up to the next level? He goes, well. He goes, you just didn't quite look like you belong. You were being very respectful and kind of trying to get out of my way. He's like, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to play your game. He's like, and not worry about anybody else. He's like, I felt like that you were kind of letting the moment take care of you, and you not trying to put your foot down. So it was pretty interesting. Nice of him to say that.
Have you asked Steve Stricker for any advice how to defend here and then potentially defend again and again?
No, old Strick, he's a beauty. I played a practice run with him a couple weeks later at the PGA, and he was. Yeah, I've played with him a pretty good amount of times. He hasn't really given me any advice just yet, but he's a great champion. He's one heck of a golfer. I know that.
So last year you became a member of an elite club that won a big tournament and won this tournament. Do you get a sense of how special this tournament is when someone like Jordan Spieth wins the Masters, and one of the first comments he makes around that time is, I'll be back at the John Deere?
I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all. I mean, you look at the caliber of player that have won this golf tournament over the years, and I mean, it's a good test of golf, and it takes really good golf to win here. I mean, there's no, the weather's always good, so you've always got low scores, so the guys have got to play well. And so I'm not surprised that, you've had some really great champions here.
Brian, we're just a couple weeks away from the U.S. Open. Obviously, it's going to be a new course for a lot of guys. Have you ever been there? Have you practiced? What's your preparation for a major, especially if it's a course you haven't played yet?
Well, I haven't practiced any downhill tee shots, but I keep hearing about over there. Somebody's really going to like it. I know that. It's an open championships. It's going to be hard. It's always hard. They set it up hard, and I guess trying to make a lot of pars somewhere would be the best way I could prepare for it. It's just golf, man. You try to hit as many fairways as you can. You try to hit it on the greens. A guy with a really good short game usually has a really good chance of it because you just can't hit enough greens to really run away with it most times.
Have you signed up for the Jet, and what are your thoughts on the British Open?
The British Open is a really cool golf tournament. I had so much fun over there last year. I was obviously still riding a high from this week. Maybe had one too many beers on that day.
Champagne.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully being back at the British Open. It's a really fun. That's a great perk for this golf tournament, having that plane getting over there. It's so hard to get over there without it that yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Ryan, are you gonna have Coach Hatch on speed dial when you get here?
Coach Hack?
Coach Hatch, ready?
Only if I need a ride to the golf course.
Can you speak to the memory of hearing the bagpipes here and whisking away to the British Open, and just other than the beer part of it, what was going through your psyche?
It was such a blur last year because obviously I was just on cloud nine, finishing that golf tournament off the way I did. I've got little pieces of it, and I can remember coming up here and the big party that was going on, and just rushing, trying to get everything situated to get on the plane. But it was just a great end to a great week for me. It was really, really special.
How about a round of applause for Brian?